Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar hosts, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck MLB DFS podcast brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar. Go get the app in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. You will not regret it. And check them out on Twitter at LineStar DFS and at LineStar MLB. You can find myself on Twitter at Bogman or at Pediatric and my co-host, and always on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how we doing, man?
You can find Bubba at Bogman Sports. Sometimes I'll get him for you.
Yeah, some people think we look alike, so it just
that's true. We're both. I mean, you're taller than me, of course. Who isn't?
Doesn't say much, but
yeah. But yeah,
you have more hair than me, so
I have way more hair than most people. So yes, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it was a decent day. The Diamondbacks finally pulled out. I mean, I shouldn't. It's not officially over as we're recording this, so I guess I shouldn't curse it here. But looks like they're going to get a W today for the first time in a while, which is nice. But once again, Xander Bogaerts takes one in the dong instead of hitting a dong. So don't like that. I mean, I just can't get on the board with these home runs. It's nuts.
Oh, that was amazing. That's why I had to tag you when I saw that video clip come through. Was this the dong you've been looking for? It was just like, oh man, and I could tell he was not wearing a cup. So that one looked like it stung. But yeah, it was a wild day. Mitch Keller, first time through the order looked good. Then boom goes dynamite, and the Reds went for 14 runs. So
2 touchdowns.
Basically, if you didn't have the Reds, probably didn't have a good evening. Just could throw it out there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, not a lot of runs scored in the other games. So the pitching was better than we thought, at least.
Yeah, the big dogs, Gibson, Wood, and Mole, they all paid off their price pretty much. They all did their thing, which was good. The value guys were tough, as we said. It was pretty much pay up and hit the Reds. That was pretty much, and the Orioles value played off with some of their big boppers, but. Overall, maybe a D-backs here or there. Overall, I will say one last thing on this. The Astros, I was all about the Astros, and watching the first 5 innings was just tilting my face off, seeing how many chances they had to score runs and just leave them all over the base paths. It was the worst feeling in the world. So, yeah.
Do you have to explain that stat to some person behind you at every game you go to? Like, I feel like everyone's like, "What's lob? What's lob?" Every single game I go to.
Is the D-backs game, do they have that on the Jumbotron? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it must be everywhere then, because when the Giants started doing that, I started laughing because I knew not many people would know what that is. I guess some stadiums now, when they do stats, because I haven't been to a game in a while, they throw OPS and ISO and stuff up there, and they're really trying to spice it up a bit.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely some innings where you can see the extended, the underlying stats and all that. I'm just waiting to see a Baseball Savant page up there at some point.
Well, it'll probably be Alex Fast throwing gifts up there, and that's just kind of what we see everywhere we turn now. It's just that's what it is, and more power to him, obviously. But
yeah, he's great.
My goodness, if we could only be half as lucky, but we are, because we're on the LineStar MLB DFS show. So make sure you rate and review it on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. I've seen a few of those have been coming in, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, go if you like to watch this instead of listen to this, which good on you. Go to the LineStar YouTube page and subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Now that the business is out of the way, we have 12 games, Bogman. 12 games to break down. Not a ton of weather, except in Colorado. It's wet again. Just throwing it out there. It's 40 to 50% chance. It dries up eventually.
It's kind of nice that at least they're not doing the doubleheader tomorrow because there's rain in the forecast. They're doing the doubleheader Wednesday, but I mean, this might end up being a makeup game too. So
they're gonna have to wait this one out and get it in, which I think they're gonna try to do, because you can't really have a triple header anymore. So I think they're gonna go that route. Other than that, just kind of windy situations and it's minor monitoring. So keep track of all that stuff, you fine folks out there, and let's get cracking on this. Philadelphia at the Washington Nationals. On this one, we have Chase Anderson, Eric Fedde, over under of 9 in this one. You have Anderson at 68 on DK, 58 on FanDuel, Fedde 6 on DK, 69 on FanDuel. I'm really not interested in either pitcher here, Bogman. It's all about the bats for me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a pass on Anderson. Fedde might be okay contrarian play, but I'm not interested. It's all bats for me here too.
Yep. Load up. I'm on the national side of this a little more than the Phillies side, but I can see both appeals. Which ones do you like?
Yeah, I mean, PVB data here. Jan Gomes, 4 for 7 with 2 doubles and a homer, so 3 of his 4 hits against Anderson have gone for extra bases. Josh Harrison, great average as well, 7 for 16 with 3 doubles and a homer. Starling Castro as well, 3 for 10 with a double and a homer. Jordy Mercer, even 8 for 21 with a double and a homer as well. On the Philly side, Harper, 4 for 11 with 2 bombs against Fetty. And Scott Kingery, who, is Scott Kingery, but he's really cheap, 2,402,000, 4 for 12 with 2 doubles and a homer against Fetty as well. The other hot guys, I mean, Kutch has been hot, so you could ride him if you want. Real Muto, 51 and 34 is expensive. Odubel, if he's in there, is 21 apiece on both sites. Segura, 43 and 29. And, of course, anytime you want to play Trey Turner is the right time to play Trey Turner.
Yep, Trey Turner's always in play, especially in cash games, because all it takes is a walk, a steal, and a run score, and you're almost sitting gravy there. So I like that quite a bit. The only other things I will mention on this one that I like about this game is Didi Gregorius is 38 on DK, is 33 on FanDuel. He's been swinging it really well. His average doesn't show up, but for fantasy production-wise, grand slams and everything, he's been great. Josh Bell's been very good as well. So I like both of those. And the other one I'll mention, another guy similar to Didi, where the average is not great, but if you look at his overall fantasy production, about 7 points or more in every night over the last 4 or 5 games. Kyle Schwarber is 37 on DK, 27 on FanDuel. So the one thing about these Nationals bats, you can get them for a nice value overall. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that. It makes it easier to get Soto and or Turner in your lineups, which is quite appealing against Chase Anderson. All right, Baltimore at the New York Mets. Means Stroman over under 7. I saw Marcus Stroman's ERA, I think, is like 7th or 8th best in baseball, and John Means is coming off a no-hitter. So, yeah, this is a fun one, Boggs. I think I'm just kind of either taking pictures or watching this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. I know that you said in the past, maybe stack against pitchers coming off a no-hitter and stuff.
Yes.
I just don't think Means is that guy. So, but he's too expensive, 11,000 and 10.3. No thanks. Stroman, also a little expensive for this slate. It's a big slate. There's other pitchers I like. So I'm with you. A couple bats. I mean, there's a little PVB data here. James McCann, 3 for 5 against Stroman. Conforto is 2 for 6 with a double and a bomb against Means. Trey Mancini is 7 for 16 in his career against Stroman with a double and a triple. And then, there's been some hot bats here. Mountcastle's been good. Hit a bomb. He went yard today, didn't he?
Yep, him and Trey Boo Boo both went deep.
Right. 31 and 25. Nice and cheap as well. Galvis has been hitting. Mullins has been hitting. Then Lindor is starting to get back into it, and he's cheap on FanDuel, 3,000. And Pilar has been hitting a little bit when he's in the lineup, 28 and 24.
Yeah, I like the value plays. You mentioned Pilar. I think Mountcastle is a really strong value in this game. The other one would be possibly VR if he cracks the lineup, which he's been playing since J.D. Davis is out. He's very, very cheap in stealing bags. I'm just not sure I'm all in on this game because it just feels like a 5-3 game or something where it's not going to be super fantasy relevant on a 12-game slate. So it's tricky for me there. And you got to just cross some games off. Otherwise, you're going to kill yourself once you've done 150 lineups. Oakland at the wonderful Boston Red Sox. In this one, Bassett, Eovaldi, and I do not. Oh, there it is. Bassett, Eovaldi, total of 9 on this game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was surprised by the total as well. Bassett, 8K on DK, 92 on FanDuel. Eovaldi, 86 on DK, 92 on FanDuel as well. Like, Bassett's strikeouts have been really, really climbing of late. The Red Sox let everybody down on Monday. Eovaldi goes maybe 5 innings. This is an interesting game to break down on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, kind of like Bassett, gone 6 innings pitched, and at least in his last 4 starts with only 2 earned runs in those games, 32-4 strikeout to walk ratio in those 4 as well. Eovaldi's getting bad results, but high strikeouts. 16 earned runs in his last 4 starts. That's 4 runs apiece. Don't like that, but 23-4. So I like Bassett in this game, which means I'm probably going to be out on some Boston bats. They've been hitting. But so on the Oakland side, Seth Brown, one of the top pickups in TGFBI this week. I know that 29 and 2,400. Nice price on him. He's been hitting recently. Matt Chapman, 49, but only 28 on FanDuel. Lowry is 47 and 29. Your boy Piscotty is 25 and 24. I think those are the bats that I like for this one.
Yeah, definitely a lot cheaper on FanDuel as well, as you're pointing out. And I do like the Bassett angle. If you're doing like a 20 max or something in a GPP, I would definitely have some Bassett because the thing with the Red Sox, their offense is very potent. They're the best team in the AL East right now. At the same time, when they go cold, and they strike out a lot. Like even Lopez was striking guys out. So I like the appeal of Bassett. Just don't go all in type situation. Yankees at Tampa Bay. We got Jomo against Patino. This is going to be a fun one. Over under of 8. We don't know how long Patino will go because he's been going after McClanahan lately. So now he's getting the start. He's 55 on DK, 6,000 on FanDuel. Montgomery 79 on DK, 64 on FanDuel. If you look at the Rays versus left-handed pitching, they strike out over 31% of the time. So This is interesting, Bogman.
And they're striking out a bunch in May, too. I think they're one of the worst in the league. So, and last time it was a mixed bag for Montgomery versus Tampa Bay. He's already pitched against them once this year. 6 innings, 4 earned, so didn't get that quality start, but 7 strikeouts to 2 walks. So, pretty decent one. You're right on Patino. His max innings pitched in a game so far this year has been 3 innings, so I'm going to pass on him. But pretty good PVB data for a couple of these Rays hitters against Montgomery. Not a long track record, but Margot is 3 for 6. All 3 of his hits have gone for extra bases, 2 doubles and a homer. Mike Brousseau, 2 for 5 with a bomb. Randy Arozarena, 2 for 7 with both of his 2 hits being homers. And Meadows, who's starting to heat up a little bit again, 2 for 5 in his career against him. So, anyone on the I like a Yankee stack against Patino, though. Stanton is expensive, but worth it. LeMahieu, Torres has been hitting. Hicks has been hitting, and Gardner's been hitting. So those are the bats that I like for this one. Montgomery is okay in a decent matchup, but I think I like some other guys better.
Yeah, it's kind of how I am with Jomo. It's like the talent's there. We've seen it. We just haven't seen the consistency to make me want to do this on a 12. If he was pitching on Monday night on that bad slate we had, we'd have a conversation to be had.
He might have been our favorite.
Yeah, I just right. Yeah, I don't need to do it on this one. And I'll let you have the Yankees only for the reason that the Rays know how to manipulate a bullpen. And they're gonna make matchups like crazy. Not saying they can't do it. Like it's the Yankees, they could hit 6 home runs off anybody, but they're gonna manipulate that bullpen so much it's gonna make your head tilt. So that's my only concern with stacking them, because usually you're stacking against a lefty or a righty or something like that. If Patino's only going 3 innings, now who are you stacking against? It's gonna get real interesting. So not saying they can't do it. I'm just very, very concerned about the overall situation on that one. All right, Kansas City at Detroit. Now this one is this is the old 3 true outcomes game, folks. Pitchers duel, meh game, or home run derby. We got Brady Singer, Matthew Boyd. Vegas thinks pitchers duel over under 7.5 in this one, which was a bit surprising to me. You got Brady Singer. He's 57 on DK, 78 on FanDuel. Boyd 63 on DK, 81 on FanDuel. Bogman, I like Brady Singer. I went to bat for him last time. He was like 4K, which was ludicrous. I still think he's great in this matchup versus Detroit. There's an argument that can be made for Boyd, but I want to stack Kansas City. So where do you stand on this one?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Detroit strikes out a lot, and Singer hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in any start since his first one, 29-11 strikeout to walk ratio over the year. So I'm with you on Singer against Detroit here. I'm definitely going to play him. And Boyd has been pitching better than his underlying numbers suggest. 2.27 ERA, but a 4.96 xFIP. So seems like the other shoe is just about to drop. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on Boyd. And there's some big PVB data against Boyd here. I mean, big. Whit Merrifield, one of my favorites. 25 for 51 against Boyd, hitting 490 over 51 ABs against him with 9 doubles and a triple. So 10 extra base hits of his 25. Jorge Soler, 5 for 15 with a double. Benintendi's even 4 for 13 with a bomb. And Salvi, 10 for 39 with a double and 2 homers against him. I mean, there's some decent on Detroit side against Singer. Castro's 2 for 6 with a homer. Hunter Dozier's 10 for 24 with 3 doubles and 2 homers against Singer.
That's against Boyd.
Yeah, or against Boyd, excuse me. Right. So there's you're right, against Boyd. I'm dumb. So I'm getting things confused here. I was just so excited about Whit. Yeah. Whit Merrifield being 25 for 51. It's just so easy. You got to get him in your lineup. He's 5,300 on DK and 37 on FanDuel. And then there's been a couple of Detroit hot bats and Grossman, Goodrum, Candelario, and Cabrera, but I'm with you. I'm not going to use Singer all over the place, but I'll get him in at least one lineup.
Yeah, on the first look at this slate, if you're looking at a cheap SP2 on DraftKings, it's like Singer and Boyd kind of stand out as your options. If Singer becomes very chalky, well, now we talk about Grossman, Goodrum, and Candelario. That's one thing I keep in mind because we talked pretty much when we talked about these guys, the Detroits basically in like the last week or so, they've been affordable, and that's the main hub of production. Willie Castro, if you want to go forward to, because he's been actually producing as well, but it's mainly this Grossman, Goodrum, Candelario. They're cheap, affordable. If Detroit goes off, they're part of it. So that's just how it goes. But I love Dozier. I love Witt in this one. You can mix in some Soler, Perez, Benintendi, whatever you want to make your big stack. Detroit's one of my favorite spots tonight against Matthew Boyd. He's been pitching well. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And usually when the other shoe drops, it's like 2, 3, 4 home runs. So give me Kansas City big tonight. And I love me some Brady Singer as well. All right. Toronto at Atlanta. Robbie Ray versus Bryce Wilson. Bryce Wilson getting the spot start. We know he's stretched out, though, because he's been doing this from time to time already this season. So I'm not full on like, oh, no, he's not going to pitch deep into a game. He should at least go like 4 or 5, I'd imagine. But I don't have a total on this one because Bryce Wilson is getting the start. But Ray is 78 on DK, 83 on FanDuel. Wilson's 53 on DK, not priced on FanDuel. Do you go back to the Robbie Ray role? Well,
yeah, I mean, he's been solid. No more than 3 earned runs in a single game and at least 5 innings pitched. The Ks have been a little up and down for him this year, but I kind of like Robbie Ray here. And
no walks and 3 straight starts.
7,800 and 8,300 is a really good price for him, too. So, I mean, once again, I feel like this is the U571, with the depth charges and everything. I'm just waiting for the huge explosive thing that's going to, sink our sub here with Robbie Ray, but run him out again while he's making you money, right? So I like him. There's a little decent PVP data versus him, but do you want to know what my note for Wilson is? What? Sucks. That's my note for him. So pass.
Who's better, Wilson from the volleyball Wilson or Bryce Wilson?
Oh, I'd much rather party with volleyball Wilson. 100%. Tom Hanks' blood has traveled the world. I mean, come on, it's got all kinds of things.
Quite a cultured individual, yes.
That's right. But Ronald Acuna is 3 for 6 against Ray with 2 bombs. Yohan Camargo is 2 for 5 with 2 doubles. 2 for 7 for Albies with a homer, and 4 for 15 with a double for Marcelo Zuna. But I like these, some of these hot Toronto bats too. Bichette, Simeon, Teoscar, Grichuk, Biggio starting to hit as well. And they should get into the bullpen fairly quickly. Like you said, maybe not as quickly as people think, but pretty quickly still. Mm-hmm. So I like Robbie Ray, and I kind of like a little bit of a Toronto stack here.
Yeah, I'm always down for a Toronto stack. That's for darn sure. Because this team, we saw it against Houston. We've seen it against good pitching. Like even in Oakland, they'll have a dud here or there because that's just baseball. But when they're clicking, like there's so many talented guys in that lineup, they're just going nuts. So I don't mind that at all, especially in Atlanta where the ball can fly out of that ballpark. You get Wilson in the bullpen. Zero problem with that at all. You probably don't get Rowdy Tellez because there's no DH, which sucks. He's 2,700 on DK and basically free on FanDuel. So that stinks. But Grichuk's like the hardest hitter they have right now. You mix in Simeon, who's on fire. There's a lot to like in this lineup, and it's expensive, but you can get that with Singer and company. The Ray side of it, like I want to play Robbie Ray so bad. But like you said, you're waiting for the U571. The Atlanta offense has been ice cold, so it's like which side's going to give?
There's other pitchers to play in this.
Exactly. So it's like I'm gonna watch it really closely, going either get really, really angry at myself or it's gonna be 15-12, and I'll be like, okay, we got one side of this right. Yeah, we got one side of this right. So we're good. Like it's Robbie Ray, we've seen it all. You've seen it firsthand many times. So yeah, it's one of those. St. Louis Cardinals, Milwaukee Brewers, Kwang Hung Kim versus Freddie Peralta. Over under 7.5. It's fun going through these totals. It's like 7.5 or 9. Like you got one of the two here. It's like a pitcher's duel or a bloodbath. But it's Kim versus Peralta. Kim 72 on DK, 63 on FanDuel. Peralta 94 on DK, 86 on FanDuel. You said you like Kim earlier when we talked. I get it. I like Peralta as well. But part of me just wants to avoid this game. It's a really tricky one for me.
I actually kind of like both sides of the pitching in this game. I especially like Kim. I mean, his price is great. Like you mentioned, it's 72 and 63 is a really good deal for him. And it's a good matchup against Milwaukee, who's been striking out a lot. 5 2/3 inning is his max this year. So hopefully he can surpass that. So he's a little dicey. So I would say some of the secondaries here are a little dicey. But there's some good mains that we'll get to. Peralta has been great, 53-17 K to walks, and he's pitching. The underlying numbers say he's pitching well too. 3.38 ERA, 3.21 xFIP. Against St. Louis too. There's a couple guys that have some good PVB data against Peralta. 4 for 5 for Goldie with 2 bombs, 3 for 8 for DeYoung with a homer, and 2 for 7 for Arenado with a bomb as well, which is why I would lean more on Kim than I would on Peralta in this game. And there's some nice cheap batters on St. Louis' side as well. Bader 2,800 on both sides. Carlson 33 and 26, Edmund 41 and 29. So I think I like the St. Louis side here, but I don't know. I'll get Kim in at least one lineup, but I'm not gonna stack him up a bunch.
Yeah, I wouldn't go all in. We've seen the good with Kim. We've also seen the ugly because he's a big pitch to contact guy.
Right.
Outside of that 1.8K game, it's 4Ks, and that is where if you're spending up on pitching, Milwaukee's my cheap stack of the night. That's the only appeal to it. If you need to cheapy it, Avislo Garcia's $2,900. He's starting to really get heated up. You got Locane for cheap. You got Tyrone Taylor, super cheap on both sides. So the outfielders for Milwaukee will be very affordable, and then you can mix and match some other pieces. So I like the appeal there. They strike out a ton versus lefties, but if you look at their ISO and their WRC plus, they're some of the best in baseball versus lefties. So they are the 3 true outcome baseball team. So either Kim's going to just slice and dice them, or they're going to hit them all with the park. It's one of the two. And I think that there's some appeal for both in this one, especially if you're looking for some value stacking. Minnesota at the Chicago White Sox. In this one, we do not have a total on this one yet. We have Dylan Cease versus Kenta Maeda. Oh, that's right, because Kenta Maeda got pushed back because of the rain out. That's where we're at. Maeda 76 on DK, 73 on FanDuel. Cease 7,000 on DK, 82 on FanDuel. I am not using Maeda until I see otherwise, but Cease, on the other hand, we could talk about.
Yeah, I mean, his last 2 have been outstanding. 13 innings pitched, 20-3, strikeouts to walks, 4 hits and 3 walks over those 2 starts. So, yeah, and he's a good price, 7,000, 8,200. Minnesota's a little bit of a tougher lineup to run someone out against, but I'm okay with it. So, yeah, I like Cease more than Maeda. Maeda, I feel like he's going to come around, right? So if you want to buy him at this cheap price at 76 and 73, I'm not going to fight you on it. But like Bubba said, I think I'm waiting until he comes all the way around and we see him actually perform, because his xFIP is 3.74 with his ERA being 5.02, and he's still 4-1 strikeout to walk. So I like Maeda, and I'm not going to fight you on it, but I just don't think I'm going to do it here. So, but I do like Cease, which makes me kind of out on Minnesota bats for the most part here. Kepler, Polanco, Cruz have decent PVB data, but just Cease is pitching way too well for me. So, Abreu, Anderson, Moncada, Mercedes, Nick Madrigal, the usual suspects plus Madrigal for the White Sox is kind of what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with Cease on this one, which you never know. Like, if you want to go, Kepler's cheap. Trevor Larnach's hitting 5th. He's cheap at 2,000, the bare minimum right now. So, like, you can get some value with Minnesota, but I'm good with attacking them for that same reason. You have Kepler, you have Larnach, you have guys you can exploit as long as you navigate the couple landmines there. And Maeda, you had him last start, and he pitched great. But like, there's some people that know pitching much better than I that like kind of broke down that start, and there's still a lot of like levels of concern that he's not quite back yet. So I'm rooting for Maeda on a slate of this size. I'm not going there again unless you're making a bunch of lineups. Obviously, you're going to do something there. Right. But if you're doing like a 3 max, like I talk about a lot or something, probably not going that route. Shohei Ohtani versus Lance McCullers, Angels, Astros in this one. And we actually have a total. I'm shocked. The total is 8 in this one. Ohtani 74 on DK, 9,000 on FanDuel. McCullers 96 on DK, 85 on FanDuel. I actually like Ohtani a lot on DK, not at all on FanDuel. McCullers, I'm always just wishy-washy on, especially against the Angels.
Yeah, I mean, McCullers' last 3 have been great. Only 5 earned runs in those last 3. The walks are high, but since May 1st, the Angels have the lowest walk percentage in the league. So might not add up to be a bad start for McCullers. Ohtani just frustrates me. Like, if he gets into walk trouble, I have a real hard time watching the game. It makes me mad. So not going to invest in him. So, but McCullers is okay here for me. And then, Upton against McCullers has an okay. He's 6 for 17 for looking PVB with a bomb, and he went yard tonight as well. Fletcher 4 for 8 with a double against him, but not a lot of PVB data outside of that lining up for anyone on either side in this game. So give me some hot Houston bats here. Alvarez. Alvarez, all you got to do, throw one out against Ohtani. Throw the bat out. See if you make contact, and it's going. Same thing with Bregman and Gurriel here as well. So I think I'm not going to go with Ohtani. I get it. I might take McCullers, but there are a couple pitchers still that we haven't talked about that I like better. So,
yeah, McCullers I'd rather have on FanDuel than on DraftKings just for the price. And then I like Ohtani a lot more on DK as an SP2. I think there's a ton of upside in that one. So that's where I'm at. I'm probably going to avoid the bats in this game unless you want to go Houston, hoping to get a lot of Angels bullpen. That's where I'd be leaning on that one. But now things get fun if the game plays, which I really do. This feels like one of those like hour to 2 hour. We wait, pray they play, and then they play with like low ownership that I've seen so many times in Colorado. Is the Padres at the Rockies? Lamet, Sensatella. We do not have a total on this game, but it's going to be very high.
Yeah, it's the Nick Cage from Con Air. Like, what's wrong with him? My first thought would be a lot. It's
going to be 10.5 to 11 is what I'm going for here. Lamet 74 on DK, 9,000 on FanDuel. Sensatella 52 on DK, 62 on FanDuel. Neither of that matters because all I care about is the bats, Bogman.
My notes on Lamet and Sensatella are pass, and then for Lamet, and then on Sensatella, it also says pass. So
perfect. We're on the same page on that one.
Yeah. No, thank you. Get bats in this game. Blackman starting to hit. Good against Lamet. 4 for 11. We went over these numbers yesterday before this got rained out, right? Trevor Story 3 for 11 against him with a double as well. But Tapia, Story, Hampson, Tatis, Cronenworth, Victor Carantini. If he gets in there, Hosmer and Myers are the bats that I like for this game, and you can stack either side.
Yeah, there's a ton to like, especially the Padres, like I said last night, and their prices went down a bit. Grisham leading off at $4,300 is criminal. That is just ridiculous in Coors Field. The other things I'll mention is on Monday, CJ Cron went on the IL, so you can get Matt Adams for 26 on DK and 3K on FanDuel.
Matt Adams, let's go. If
he doesn't play, it's Connor Joe, which is even cheaper. They've been rotating at first base, so you have that going for you. And then Tommy Pham's $3,100 on DK, and he's been leading off. So there is ridiculous value in Coors Field, which sucks if you're trying to be contrarian, because it's just like, how do I avoid this beautiful, beautiful asteroid coming right at me? But yeah, that's where we're at on that one. So enjoy Coors, hope it plays, I guess, and see what happens. Miami at Arizona, Pablo Lopez, Madison Bumgarner over-under of 8 in this game. I'm pumped. I'm rooting for Mad Bum to keep it going. I really do want to see him get going. He is 87 on DK, 87 on FanDuel. Lopez is 82 on DK, 8K on FanDuel. Both really good pitchers that I'm good with using either or. And I really don't want to attack him with bats unless you really think Bumgarner's going to falter.
Yeah, and I don't. He's been good over his last 3, 20 strikeouts to 1 walk in his last 3 starts, 2 earned run total over those. One of them, of course, being the 7-inning no-hitter. I like him here against Miami. And I like Lopez, too. 6 innings pitched or more in 3 of his last 4 starts, 24-7 strikeout to walk ratio. XFIP is a run higher than his ERA, but it's still solid because I think his ERA is like 2.27. And so his XFIP is a little bit higher than that. So I'm good with either pitcher on both sides here, which makes me not really want to take hitters. If you are going to play against him, there is a little PVB data against Bumgarner. Brian Anderson's 3 for 7 with a double and a homer. Miguel Rojas, who's been hot recently, 5 for 12 with a home run against Bumgarner, and Lewis Brinson, who's been good, 2 for 7 with a triple against Bumgarner, but he's been pitching different. So I like Bumgarner. I like Pablo. So no hitters for me in this game.
Yeah, no hitters for me. And those Marlins prices on FanDuel are just, wow, that's insulting. So, yeah, that's bad. But we head to the nightcap, the last game of the evening. No total on this one yet. Seattle at the Dodgers. Kikuchi, Buehler. Kikuchi, 84 on DK, 79 on FanDuel. Buehler, 98 on DK, 10-8 on FanDuel. This is an interesting one because you got Buehler going maybe 6 innings. We'll see. You got Kikuchi against a very, very struggling, hardcore Dodgers lineup. I'm not using Kikuchi, though.
Yeah, I mean, 7 innings pitched in his last 2 starts in a row 14-3. K to walk. His xFIP has been great, 3.54 to his 4.30 ERA. I tell you what, I'm not gonna kill you if you use Kikuchi in a GPP or something.
Would you rather have Kikuchi or Kim?
I'd rather have Kim.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't mind Kikuchi, but Buehler is easily the chalk pitcher. 6 innings pitched in all 6 of his starts, 2 walks on the year, 39-2 strikeout to walk ratio on the season. So if you're going to pay up for someone, it's going to be Buehler, because let's not forget the Mariners just got no hit as well. So this is an easy Buehler start for me. I think he gets them back on track. Kikuchi is okay, but because the pitchers have been so good, I want no part of bats in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to sit and just watch this one. The Dodgers have been so cold. Could they go off at any time? Sure. They're the Dodgers. Their offense is loaded. But I'll pass. I'll just watch this one. If you want to use Buehler, I'm on board with everything Bogman had to say. It makes total sense. So we can definitely jump that route. But otherwise, enjoy that late night game. The only game after 7 Pacific time on a Tuesday. But that wraps up the 12-game preview. Bogman, who are your top stacks tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I like, we talked about a bunch of them. Toronto and Atlanta is a decent one for me. You mentioned Washington versus Philly. The Yankees at Tampa Bay, we kind of disagreed on that one, but I kind of like the Yankees. Kansas City at Detroit's probably my favorite. And maybe a little St. Louis at Milwaukee stack. And then, of course, either side of San Diego and Colorado.
Yeah, Coors Field. I kind of like Chicago, the White Sox a bit against Maeda. I mentioned Milwaukee versus Kim, Toronto. Love Kansas City. Can't say that one enough. I'm going to live and die on that hill, I think. And then definitely some Washington in that Washington-Philly game. I kind of like both sides. We're going to Washington and that side. But yeah, Kansas City's where I'm planting my flag on that one. I'm talking about planting flags, Bogman. Everyone go check out LineStar on Twitter at LineStar DFS and at LineStar MLB, because every day they tweet out all kinds of cool stuff, but they tweet out the home run calls of the day where Bogman, Humphreys, myself, we all make home run calls. And if you retweet it, you're into the drawing that you might get drawn, that if you get one of us lucky guys and you get our home run and we actually get one, you can win some free swag. So make sure you check all that stuff out. And with that being said, Bogman, on Tuesday, May 11th, who is your home run call of the day?
I got to go back to an old favorite here. And I'm going to go to my guy, Paul Goldschmidt, orchestrator of the, infamous now Carl's Jr. rant that I had in this league a while back when he got traded. Obviously a Diamondbacks fan, obviously very upset about trading one of the best players in franchise history. So give me Goldie against Freddie Peralta. He's hit 2 homers off of him before. So let's go yard for a third time, Goldie. Let's get it.
All right. I've been basically telling everybody that I'm going to live and die with Kansas City. So I'm going to live and die with the guy I've been playing a lot over the last week or so. I've been pounding the drum, and he's been hitting great. We're going with Hunter Dozier. Hunter Dozier going deep off Matthew Boyd on a Tuesday as Kansas City just goes ham on Matt Boyd and the Tigers. So enjoy that one. You got Dozier from myself, Goldie from Bogman. Any final thoughts, Bogman?
I almost took wit. So because I love that stack against Boyd, but I gotta Goldie's got to get me back on the board. He'll do it. Let's go.
Yes, let's do it. Everybody remember to go check out LineStar on Twitter at LineStar DFS, at LineStar MLB, and rate and review the podcast on iTunes and subscribe and all that good stuff over on the LineStar YouTube channel. We'll be back with you guys on Wednesday. We have 12 games on a Tuesday. So follow Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm Matt Beatty-Intric, and we will catch you guys next time.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar app On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to LineStarApp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.